I invent my wife. Sometimes, according to her, it's she who invents me. Then, depending on who's telling the story, one of us or both of us invent the rest of the world, although neither of us claim responsibility for Mrs. Hook, who lives in the apartment directly below ours and suffers from terminal happiness, her laughter keeping us awake most of the night. In my wife's hearts of hearts, I know she blames me for Mrs. Hook because all week she's nagged, saying, "If you're responsible for the world, then the Hook woman must be your doing, so erase her." I'm of the opinion that Mrs. Hook's happiness bewilders my wife, and I say, bewilderment, if taken in small doses, and of course not all the time, may be good for you. And I refuse to rub the Hook woman out. Well, my wife flew into a tizzy, but it was a small tizzy, and did little harm to the cutlery or to me. Sometimes I die first, sometimes it's my wife. When reborn, we look different, and so it takes time to find each other. When she dies first, I stand on the sidewalk inquiring of every passing woman, "Are you my wife?" I ask, and "Are you my wife?" Well, eventually, a woman stops. She looks me over carefully and says, "Yes, I am your wife." Well, then I pick her up and I carry her home, and then I throw open theses of the philosophy of history, and we begin anew, wrestling our way through Walter Benjamin. In bed, tossing and turning, unsuccessfully attempting to doze over the uproar of Mrs. Hook's happy cackles, I note that the hour hand has passed midnight, and we have entered the day of my wife's birth. "My wife," I say, "it is your birthday. Would you like me to make you?" I think for a moment. "A forest?" But before she could answer if she was going to answer, I make a sample forest, nothing elaborate, just a small pine forest, but, and I hadn't considered this, the tree trunks, they're much too close together. And she says, "Some present. This is making me claustrophobic." Well, so I race the sample forest, and at the exact moment I do that, Mrs. Hook stops laughing. And I say, "Can I call that your birthday present?" Well, she buries her head again under the pillow. With the dawn of my wife's birth finally arrived, I remain in bed, but unable to sleep. She has gone into the basement to do laundry, where she learns from a gaggle of women gathered witch-like around the dryer that during the wee hours Mrs. Hook died. Shouting, "Assassin, assassin," she throws open the front door to our apartment, straight away goes for my face. She has some success before I manage to catch her with a good one, which settles things down. Well, the rest of the day of her birth, we spend thumbing through Walter Benjamin, seeking an absolute, some bottom line, the sub-basement of all human speculation. And then around 5:30 in the afternoon, defeated, we give it up and begin to drink heavily. "My wife," I say, "was it in Benjamin that I read that in the physical world everything has weight? Or did I pick that up somewhere else?" Her face registered profound disagreement, and I say, "Wait," and I get a tomato from the fridge and throw it against the wall above the mantel, tipping over one of her decorative glass animals, the giraffe, the kangaroo, I don't know. Well, it shatters to shards on the floor. "My wife," I say to her, "you can count on that. At least that's one bottom line. That's one absolute, don't you think?" Well, she runs for the kitchen, and hearing the refrigerator door open, then slam shut, I beeline it to the bathroom, close and lock the door an instant before her tomato lands. What my wife does with the remaining hours of the day of her birth, I do not know, because I remain locked in the bathroom. But before all the hours have passed, I am semi-forgiven for the destruction of what I learn is a glass antelope, although I know there remains a price to pay. Well, in bed again, minutes remaining in the day of her birth, she turns to me and says, "My husband, while you were locked away in the bathroom, what did you do?" "Well, my wife," I tell her. "Well, I was in the bathroom. I finished a chapter. I built an ark, and why not? Perhaps I had." And then, feigning curiosity, I ask, "During the time I was locked away, what did you do?" Propping herself up on two pillows, she thinks that over. "My husband," she finally says, "it's still my birthday, isn't it?" I agree. So can I start from the beginning again? I agree. Then, okay, well then, let's see, she thinks. I got up very early, but of course, you knew that. Can I call that number 1? It's your birthday. Okay, then I went into the bathroom and brushed my teeth. Call that 2. I do. Then, and I can't imagine how I forgot to tell you this, and you're not going to believe it. As I was brushing my teeth, our cat brushed against my leg, purred, and I felt the floor arch beneath my feet, and my husband. The huge circumference moved. I felt it, the earth, I felt it move, and then, listen to this. Filaments of celestial geometry crisscrossed through me, and in that instant I was connected with the inanimate as well as the animate world. And then pulling down the blanket and pointing to her tummy, she says, my tummy, right here. It began to glow, and the bathroom became so bright I had to shield my eyes and... Well, just then, and for the first time, Benjamin's angel of history, magnificent, wings spread wide, its back to the future and facing the devastation of the past, glides through the bedroom. My wife, I say, will you look at that? It's the angel of history. Open your eyes and see how far we have come. But already she has turned away from me, has buried her head, has gone inward, just as I then do, or inside my head while shifting through layers of memory, reacquainting myself with myself and perhaps seeking the equivalent of bottom. I ease into the zone of Mrs. Hook, her laughter, which after minutes gives way to silence.